Okay. We are healing the spiritual self today. That is what we are activating today, right? So let's just do let's see. Come on. Nope. Why is that not working? I have 30 pages here. Why is it not letting me scroll? Remember how I said we were going to go off without a hitch today? Inaccurate. Okay, we'll do it like that. That'll work. That'll work. Okay, cool. So once again, come say hi on Instagram if you're on Instagram. That Instagram and the Facebook group are my favorite places to hang out. And I've been seeing a few of you posting about this on Instagram, and it just makes my heart happy. So feel free, integrate deeper by sharing it and claiming your process. Because remember, your process gets to be super unique, super duper yours. We're not copying and pasting here. Okay, so yesterday we talked all about healing the mental self, which if you missed that one, go back and watch the replay. You can still stay here today. I'm not going to kick you out. Looking at you, sister. And it's fine because I think you did this last year, didn't you, Melissa? I can't remember if you did.
I did. No, I did.
I'm pretty sure you did.
You're right. I did.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through yesterday's.
Oh, cool. Good. So that's a good one. And I've already geeked out with you on a lot of that anyways, but today we're healing the spiritual self. And this one is so fun because, and I think I'll talk about this again in a little bit, but a lot of the stuff that I talk about in here is not stuff that I just share publicly because it is pretty deep dive and it's hard to just it's hard for me to not rabbit hole too much and just lose my train of thought when I just share it all over the place. So this is a really good place to go through this. So yesterday we talked about Hakalau, right? Why don't we go ahead and get into a Hakalau state right now? So just wherever you're at, you can either have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels most comfortable to you, and just raise your eyes about 45 degrees. Just keep them lifted and just start to notice how you're feeling in your body right now. What emotions are coming up for you in this moment? And start to notice that you can also hear what's going on around you, whether it's prevalent to this moment or not. You can just kind of hear things. You can see more. Your awareness is increasing. And when you feel like you're in a really good focused place that you like, you can go ahead and lower your eyes and we'll carry on. Okay, and anytime you feel like you're getting distracted or, yesterday we talked about association and dissociation, right? Like, so if you're getting really zoomed in on something that's unpleasant, go back into that Hakalau state, okay? So yesterday we also talked about the function of the subconscious mind, where it lives, right? So it lives in the body, which we'll be talking about tomorrow. And we talked about the law of requisite variety, right? Flexibility. Flexibility is crucial to surrendering to your desires, right? To manifesting your desires and maintaining boundaries while also getting what you want, essentially, right? We also talked about the pause process and reframing. Does anyone have any questions about any of this that they would like to bring up? Oh, I didn't see comments. Let's see. Bree says it was day 2 a year ago to day 2. Right? Okay, it came up in your memories. That makes me so happy. I know, I did not plan this at all. And I'm very happy with the way that this has come up. Exactly a year. I have been sitting on the idea of running this again for a few months, honestly. And then it just kind of was like, oh, now is the time. Apparently the end of August is a special time right now. Okay, so if any questions for yesterday come up, feel free to drop them at any point during this. And I also have an eye on Facebook. Hi, people on Facebook. Oh, Sheena's on Facebook today. Sounds good. I'm going to keep my eye on the comments over there. So let me know if you have any input over there or any questions. All right, so spirituality. What is spirituality? according to what I have on this cute little slide here, it's a sense of connection with something bigger than ourselves, right? Spirituality is honestly such a broad concept. When I was younger, I used to think that to be spiritual meant to be religious. I thought that those were one and the same. I thought they were just synonyms for each other, right? And they're not. You can be deeply religious and spiritual, and you can also be not religious at all and be spiritual. Like, they're two different things. Spirituality is a broad concept that gets to mean whatever you make it mean, right? That way you can experience and express your spirituality in a way that feels really and deeply aligned with your core values, with who you are at an identity level, and just what feels good for you, because life gets to feel good, right? So this is what it means in the most general sense of the word, just a sense of being connected with something that's bigger than who we are as individuals, right? I believe in God. I am a Christian woman. I believe in God. I am religious, and I also refer to God as the universe and energy and source. So I use all of these words interchangeably. Whenever I use any of those words, you feel free to insert whatever it means for you. Okay. I just want to make that super duper clear. And just to, so that, because again, we don't copy and paste here, right? So whatever, I just want you to make this a very aligned experience for you, because spirituality is a very highly personal experience and very unique. Even in one religion, it gets to be really unique with every individual that participates, right? So just let this be whatever it is for you. If you're not sure what spirituality looks like for you, how it gets to be experienced for you, let this be the start of exploring that. Let's see, Bree says, I heard doing a Kundalini challenge this month. Oh, you're doing a Kundalini challenge this month. Someone using the term God as guidance on demand. And I love that. Oh, I like that a lot. Guidance on demand. I love that. And that's one of the things, and we're not going to be talking about the centers of human design today, but for those of you who are familiar with, which most of you on here are, I just always talk about how our inner authority in our human design is how we get to have immediate access to God, to the spirit, to source, right? To receive that answer. That's our immediate, most clear connection. So whatever your inner authority is in your human design, that's like your spark into getting that guidance on demand. I love that, Bree. Thank you for that. Oops, I'm hitting buttons. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. All right, so spiritual health. This is what we're focusing on today. What is spiritual health? So we've talked about what spirituality is. Spiritual health then is the health of your soul, your energy, your spirit, right? And generally speaking, it's going to be in relation to your sense of purpose, your, the meaning of life in whatever that feels like for you, and your awareness of your energy. Okay, so the health of your spirit. And how do we improve that? Because that can be a really vague concept, right? How do you heal your spirit? How do you heal your soul? There's so many modalities out there that claim to be able to do this. There's so many methods, so many processes, right? Which, again, some people are going to try to copy and paste because and it's all with the best of intention. I am never going to rag on another practitioner or coach or anything like that, because when someone finds something that works so profoundly for them, they want to share that with everyone. I have done the same thing, right? But what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for the next. So I'm going to help you discover today how you get to heal your own soul, how you get to activate that healing for your energy. Okay. And, just to name a few methods that you could explore: meditation, right? Energy work, prayer, anything that's going to facilitate the deeper discovery of your own energy, of your own purpose, right? Anything that's going to help you strengthen your personal connection with the universe. Any of that is going to help you strengthen your spiritual health. Okay. Oops. There we go. Who is excited for this? I am so excited. All right, so today we are exploring your human design gates and their planetary activations, which, again, I don't really talk about the planetary activations anywhere else. I might start doing that a little bit more, but this is so good. So good. All right. Oh, wait. So before we dive into that, first, if you know, comment below with your, and again, if you're watching the replay, still comment as if you're watching this live, okay? Comment below with your human design type and authority. Bree says, I tried to fill this thing out. I promise I did, then got very confused. Totally fine. Pregnancy brain is, I got you. Got you. Yes, you're a 1-3 sacral generator. Yes. All the 1-3s. My sister I know is a 1-3. Sheena's a 1-3. Bree is a 1-3. Courtney, I can't remember what you are. Do you have your chart with you, Courtney? Do you? Okay. It's okay if you don't know the profile either. If you do, fun. If not, that's totally fine for today. Okay, so yes, my sister is a manifesting generator, sacral. And I know Sheena is watching. She is also a 1-3 manifesting generator, sacral. So fun. You guys, I seriously, I say this all the time. I literally attract so many 1-3s into my life, and it makes me so happy. Those 1-3s, that 1-3 profile is just so fun. I am not a 1-3. I'm a 2-4. So
what am I looking for again? I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. So your inner authority, you know what? I can actually pull up your chart for you as well, real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. I found it.
You don't know what you're looking at yet.
Yeah. I mean, I know. I mean, okay.
All good.
I just.
Here we go. Okay, so Courtney, so where it says type over on that left side.
Pure generator.
And pure means that your inner authority is your sacral center.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And your profile is a 6-2, which is actually the same as my oldest daughter, which is so fun. Oh, so fun. Okay, so you, Courtney, are a 6-2 sacral generator. Love that. Love that. Yes, Sheena. Bree, you seem to attract projectors. For a little while, but like last year, I was attracting so many projectors, and then it like went back to manifesting generators. You should ask them what their lines are. Totally do. I want to know. So fun. I love projectors. They're just like, they have such a special place in my heart. Your oldest is a projector. It's so funny. This is totally off topic, but so I'm a generator. My husband and my 2 daughters are all manifesting generators and are very busy manifesting generators. And then my son is a manifester. So I'm like trying to figure out, how do we not overwhelm this poor non-sacral, not poor, I should not have said that, but this sweet non-sacral being in our home full of so much sacral energy. Brie, I think she may be a 3-5, and I think one of my projector friends is also a 3-5. I have a client who was a 3-5. Oh, a 6-2. That 6-2 is so you treat it like a 3-2 until they're about 30, and then I think it's 30, and then they'll shift into the being on the roof. Anyways, that's going to the profiles is a whole other thing, but so fun. I love that. So she kind of has that 3-line aspect. Yeah, up until about, I think it's about the age of 30. I'm pretty sure it's like around their Saturn return, if I remember right, that the 6-line acts like the 3-line. So let her take all that messy action. Let her make all the mistakes. You got 15 years ago. Yep. Maybe that's why you're having those moments. Yep, that's yes. And that's one of the things too, because again, my middle child, she's a 1-3. And so I have to tell myself all the time, like, okay. I mean, and she's only 4, but I'm like, okay, just, all right, go do your thing. Actually, same with both of my daughters, because my oldest is only 7 and she basically has a 3-line. So fun. Y'all, I could literally talk to you for hours about all of this. So freaking good. Okay. So again, you should have that gate activation guide with you, even if you haven't even filled it out yet. Totally fine. Feel free to send me questions when you're 1-3 hit the teen years. I will. I will, Brie. I am certain that I will, because I am nervous. When they were younger, I was like, oh, the teenagers are gonna be great. I'm gonna be such a fun teen mom, and they're gonna be like my best friends. And already I'm like, they're getting attitudes already. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Yeah, that was you. We're gonna get through this. At least I'll be sleeping through the night by then, right? Okay, so yeah, and if you don't already, I think I've already mentioned this, but if you don't already, make sure that you have your human design chart on you as well as we go through this, because if you haven't filled out the gate activation guide yet, having the guide and your chart with you is going to help this make a lot more sense as we go through this. Okay, so here's my chart. This is me. Very vulnerable. I remember that when I ran this last year and I was putting this up, I was like, oh, do I want to put my chart up there for everyone to just see? It feels so vulnerable. But it's so good because I love you guys. Still feels a little bit vulnerable. Is that weird? Like this isn't even, like it's just my human design chart. But this is all of me. This is me right here on a page. So, but I want to have this up to show you all of, help you guide you through your chart as I take you through mine. Okay. So your active gates are what determine the definition in your chart. Okay, so these two columns on either side of your body graph, which this right here is your body graph. Okay, these two columns are your activated gates. Now here you'll see that I have Chiron. If you don't have your Chiron, let me know, because most free softwares do not show your Chiron activation because it does not affect anything in your body graph. It's just another thing to play with, another piece of energy to play with, sort of, but it doesn't determine any channels or gates within your body graph. Okay, but everything else you should be seeing. I think all of you that are on here live, I believe I have pulled your charts before, so you should all have Chiron. But we'll get to Chiron in just a little bit. So anyways, so you can see right here on this top right corner, this is my conscious sun gate, which is activated in 39, which is down in my root center down here. So you can see it is, that gate is defined in black because it is my conscious gate. Now, some of them, like you can see here in gate 1, you can see I have it activated in both the conscious and the subconscious. Okay, so on the right side, these are your conscious gates. On the left side, that is your subconscious side. Okay, so should we put root in that blank? What blank? Sorry, I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Like on the worksheet that the handout that you gave, you said to go to like the nearest full number before, which is 39 in your case, 7 in my case. But then I'm unclear like what I'm supposed to put into the.
Oh, okay. So if you look further
yeah.
into the guide, it'll have words corresponding with each gate. So if you look in more pages, each gate, I put like, I think 3 different words to describe sort of the energy of that gate. And that's something I want to give a disclaimer on as well. With human design, it was founded like in the 80s, and sometimes the words don't fully express the energy of that gate. So like, for example, I am a 2-4 profile. You can see here that the 2 line is known as the hermit. I actually do align with that. I'm very much an introvert. I love to be at home, but some people don't. They don't like that term. Or like the 3 line is known as the martyr. That generally doesn't have the best connotations with it. So just keep in mind, these are just words. And as you explore it more and as you learn more about it, you can find more like, oh, it's not so much the martyr as it is like the scientist or the messy action. That's what I like to call it, right? So just keep that in mind as you learn about this and you hear some words. You might initially kind of resist some of the words. It's just a word. It does not describe the full entirety of that aspect. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So can you see now how these numbers over here correlate with your definition in your body graph? And that's what creates your definition. So what creates a defined center is when you have a full channel connecting the 2 centers. So I just heard my toddler breathing heavy back there. That scared me. It's all good. So right here, this is my heart center. And you can see I have gate 21 activated, but it's not connected. I don't have any channels connected to my heart center, which is why it's undefined. Okay, and my ajna center right here has no gates activated in it, so it's completely open. And so right here, I've got my throat center that's connected by a channel to my spleen over here and to my G center right here. So that's why all 3 of those are defined. Does this make sense why we're defined in different places? Okay. Cool. I just always find that really helpful to understand to help eliminate some of that confusion. Let's see.
Sorry.
No,
Are we so like a lot of mine is like, all my numbers like 0.6. So you know math, you're supposed to go up to the next number. Like,
No,
do you know what I mean? Like I have 61.6. So should I do the 62 or do I stay at 61?
stay 61. The point two, so the number after the decimal is the line. So it just gets really specific.
Oh, okay.
So like right here, I've got 39.2. So I have gate 39 activated and it's the second line. So
Mhm.
I have gate 39 activated and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what that, I know what it is in Gene Keys right now, but I can't think of the gate. But anyways, but it's expressed through the 2 line, which is more of like that. Sheena, gotta catch the replay, gotta help the kids with something. Totally fine, Sheena. I'll keep holding space for you here. Love you. But yeah, so the 2
many
just gets really
sixes. A lot of sixes
Mm,
and a lot of 2s. And I just, wow.
yes. We're not gonna get super specific on the lines in this call, but there's so much goodness in there. So
Okay.
yeah. When I sent you, because I sent you that mini human design report, that recording, when I talk about your profile, that will apply to kind of each of these. So like I've got a couple of 6s here. So that 6 line would apply to the energy of these gates. If you want to get really specific, that's like extra deep dive if you get to that point. Okay, so so in this, you can see that the flow and the circulation of energy through a channel, it's like a spark that establishes communication between the 2 centers. Okay, so again, I have my throat center defined and it's connected both to my G center and to my spleen, which means I am, like, generally speaking, I'm here to speak on identity and life purpose and life direction, as well as like physical health and fear and right, which makes sense because those are things that I talk about quite often and feel really good about talking about. So it just kind of sparks that communication and keeps that flow of energy. Okay. And this is what carries the potential for growth and evolution within your being, because I have these connected, so I have a pretty good flow there. And I also have openness where I am open to receiving greater energy, greater information from other people. So like if one of you have gate 17 activated, that's going to make me, while I'm in your presence, that's going to spark that communication kind of between us. And I'm going to experience as if I have a defined ajna kind of while I'm with you. How wild is that? And that's why, so as we get into the planetary activations, transits. So like today, here, let's look at what the transit is at the moment right now, shall we? So transit is just the where the planets are at this moment. So like if someone were born at this moment, they would be, come on, they would be a projector, because this is what their chart would look like in this very moment. Okay. And speaking of gate 17 is activated right now. It is activated in, I don't have these symbols memorized. What is, whatever this one is, the one that kind of looks like a 4. If any of you have the symbols memorized, you can drop. I want to say Saturn. I could be wrong. I could very easily be wrong. But anyways, it's activated in that planet, right? Like that planet is activating gate 17 right now. So right now, it's like I'm experiencing having a defined ajna with the theme of that planet. And that's going to make more sense as I go through the planets and what they mean, okay? Jupiter. Okay, thank you, sister. Oh, Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is all about like your big juicy blessings and all that goodness. So anyways, do you see how that can bring out so much opportunity for growth and learning? Massive learning every moment of every day. There's always going to be something available for you. And again, I want to remind you, that is why it is so deeply important for you to be so deeply connected with your own strategy and authority. Otherwise, it's going to be really easy for you to get super overwhelmed and to go rabbit holing in areas that are not meant for you in this moment. So as we go through this, don't feel like you need to memorize everything. If it feels like it's going in one ear and out the other, that's totally fine, because guess what? We learned yesterday that your body is maintaining all of that. Your subconscious mind is maintaining every single word that I am saying. And when it's correct for you to contemplate on that thing, it'll come back up to the conscious surface. Okay, so just trust your body, trust your subconscious to give you whatever you need in whatever given moment. and anything that is sticking out to you really profoundly right now, that's what you need to be contemplating, right? So just trust that, all right? Overwhelm serves no purpose. Overwhelm is easy. Sometimes our brains like to say that we're confused or overwhelmed because that's easy, because we don't have to try to figure it out, right? Like, you don't need to spend any energy being confused or overwhelmed, because if you don't understand it in the moment, you don't need to understand it in the moment, okay? Let it be that simple. It gets to be easy, it gets to be simple. So we can see here, not including Chiron, we have 64 total gates, 32 in the conscious, 32 in the subconscious, okay? So you can have a maximum of 26 activated gates, although oftentimes you're gonna have duplicates, right? So let's see, I think I've got 39 a few times. I've got 39 here and right there and over here. I also have 38 a few times, right? Here, give me one itty bitty. She's just singing me a beautiful song. I don't know if you guys could hear her. She loves to sing and it makes me super happy. So anyways, you may have up to 26 gates activated, but you also may have fewer because of just the duplicates, like my sun and my Chiron, and I've got a few 38s, right? So it's okay if you don't have 26 total, just to be clear. So every gate has its own theme, right? And these themes are going to provide just more insight into your personality, which is your conscious side, right? As well as your subconscious personality. So anything that you see over here, anything that's defined in black in that conscious side, are generally going to be traits and aspects of who you are that you likely have been pretty aware of most of your life. Like, you've kind of known that about yourself already. And anything that's in red, you probably haven't noticed quite as much, unless you've already been made aware of it quite a bit, but maybe other people have said it about you. Like, they've told you that these are qualities that you have, and you're like, what? I don't get it. I don't see that, right? Because it's subconscious, all right? Like for me, that 2-4 profile, that 2 line, very much like introverted, very much likes to have their own space and recharge on their own, needs to be called out by other people to share their genius, share their natural talents. That's totally me. I totally love being holed up in my own house. Like, people literally have to drive me out of my house. Like, there has to be something happening for me to leave my house, or I have to literally force myself to do it. And that 4 line is very much the, loves all the people, which I do. I love people, but like networks all the time, it has really powerful connections with other people and everything. I never thought that was me, ever. Totally did not believe that until now that I have learned that about myself and I'm more aware of it. Now it makes sense to me. So as you become more aware of your subconscious side, the more sense it will make to you, and the more you can utilize those subconscious gifts. Okay. And you can keep that in mind here as well. So like, if any of you have a defined solar plexus and the entire channel is red, you may not be super aware of your emotional waves. Just going to throw that out there in case anyone watching is familiar with all that. I'm not going to go deep dive into that at this moment. If there's questions on that at the end, we can certainly dive into that. But I just wanted to throw that little tidbit out there for you, because I remember when I learned that, I was like, oh, that makes sense for some people that I know.
I had 2 questions.
Yeah.
Like, you see how you're you have the red and black line at the bottom that's connecting.
These two.
Yeah, like 30 and 40. Like, what is that? I mean, it's your personal chart, but like, I would like to know like why someone's is empty or why someone's is full. And like, both of our strategies respond. Is it like responding to opportunities, or like, what does that mean when it has respond for your strategy?
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely. So I'm going to talk about the respond thing first. And I actually talked about this in that mini human design report I sent you as well. So there's more in there for you as well. But so this sacral center right here, anyone who has this defined, which is about 70% of the population roughly, gives you the power to respond. And when you respond, that's just going to it's going to let you know whether something is correct for you or not. So like, you just gave me 2 questions to answer, and I got to respond to which one I wanted to answer first. And it felt right for me to answer this one first, right? So that was a response. And yeah, someone could ask you a yes or no question, like, do you like blue? right? So that's a really simple example. Or I like to use this example as well when it comes to housework. I don't follow chore charts very well, but for me, like if I kind of look around my house, my sacral will tell me like, let's go fold laundry. Like, oh yeah, that laundry pile you see over there. Oh yeah, let's go to that. Like I feel kind of drawn to that. Or I see the dishes in the sink and I either feel repelled or drawn to them. So kind of that. And as you get more and more familiar with your own sacral response, you'll be able to respond to it much faster. And for anyone who's a manifesting generator, that response generally is much faster than for generators. Does that clear that answer up a little bit?
Yes, it does. I remember you last year saying like you totally hate the dishes and your husband loves doing the dishes. And you were like, I don't understand how people use like relaxing and just something that I remember.
I very rarely do the dishes, although I will empty the dishwasher happily. So yes, my sacral will often draw me to that dishwasher to empty it, which I actually did earlier today. But anyways, so yeah, that's that sacral response, that's that strategy. And then as far as having it, so how half of my channel here is red and half is black, that's actually what I was going to talk about next. So that's perfect. So let's talk about how this definition sort of works, right? So how a gate is activated. So for me, let's see where 41 is. So I've got 41 activated by the north node in my conscious design. So you see that? So 41, the gate 41 is right here. So that's why that aspect of the channel is activated in black, because it's activated by the north node in my conscious design. Yep. And then gate 30 in my solar plexus here is activated by this little guy, which if anyone wants to shout out which that one is, I'm not sure, but it's activated in my subconscious. So that's why that one is red. Does that help? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like it's defined because both within your personality and both within your subconscious, like you're aware of it. Like that. Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, I know it. It all makes so much sense. Oh, so
yeah.
So and then also, I might need to have my son join us. We'll see. But so anything over here in the black is what was activated the moment that you were born. So these are the positions that all of these celestial bodies were in the moment that you were born. Okay, so that's why we need your birth time and date and location and everything, right? Because it all it's relative to where you were born and when you were born, okay? And again, these are the ones that you have conscious access to, you're more consciously aware of them. And then over here on the left side, your design or your body or your subconscious design was activated 88 days before you were born. So the moment that you're born, we pull your chart and then it kind of goes back 88 days to see what position were all of these planets in 88 days ago. And that's your subconscious design. Okay, so this is just the nature of your subconscious. And again, other people, until you become aware of them, other people have likely been more aware of these gifts in you before you. So maybe you can let this be a way to receive compliments a little bit better, because even if you don't see it in yourself, you can trust that they're just witnessing something in your subconscious that gets to be celebrated. I mean, my gosh, raise your hand if you've ever struggled with receiving a compliment. Just trust, hey, it's okay if I don't see it. If they see it, it must be in there somewhere, right? Bree says, I don't seem to have the chart with Chiron on it. I remember you did pull it last year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you know what? Let me just tell you what it is real quick, and then I can resend it to you if you would like when we're done here. All right. Okay, so your, oh wait, here. Come on. I love this app, but it does not move super fast. Quantum, but where are you? There it is. And sometimes you'll see Chiron spelled with the CH, sometimes you'll see it with a K. They're both right. Okay, so Brie, in your conscious side, your Chiron is gate 45, line 3. And in your subconscious, it's gate 35, line 2. Good? Okay, let's take a pause for 1 second. I'm gonna go grab my little boy. He's gonna just hang out in this little guy with us. I think he's just tired and he's not falling asleep because his sister is just so lovey out there. Oh, I wish I could just come give snuggles right now. I wish you could too. What's stopping you? Come on over, sister. All right, so, okay. So those are the gates, and each gate, as we already kind of talked about this, is going to be experienced a little bit differently depending on the planetary body that it has been activated under. Okay, so that's what we're going to go over today. Yeah, and if you, I was never really into astrology before all of this. So I learned all of this stuff along with human design, but if you were already into astrology and everything, a lot of this stuff will probably feel more familiar to you, which is, it's great either way, totally fun either way. I just love all the like, oh, this is why I love human design, because it pulls all of the things in with it. Hi, sweet baby egg, yes. He's already 2 months old, you guys. I don't know how that happened. Okay, so yeah, just make sure that you have your gate activation guide with you, because I'm definitely not going to have time to go through all 64 gates today. So pull that up and then you can sort of have that with you. So as we go through each planetary body, you can apply your gate to whatever we're talking about. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let's do this. Still don't know why my arrow buttons aren't working. It's really annoying because I keep scrolling the wrong way. Okay, the sun. Okay, so pretty straightforward. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. We could get super complex, but simplicity is also my jam. Let me just pull back over here. Oh, he's so tired. I forgot that you're a quad left. That blows my mind. All right, so the sun is your outer expression, right? This is, so look at the gate, whatever gate you have activated in your sun, both the conscious and the subconscious, whatever you have there is your outer expression. That's what you're here to share with the world, your core energy, your yang energy, your doing energy, right? Very much, this is where your masculine energy gets to thrive, is whatever gate you have activated here, okay? And I'm probably gonna move through these kind of quickly, so stop me if you have any questions about any of these, okay? So that is the sun gate. I keep scrolling the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so the earth, that is the next one. This gate, so pull up whatever gates you have activated here. I'm gonna stand for a minute. Whatever gate you have is what grounds you. This is what provides you with that really grounding energy. And it's what allows you to, like, you need to be grounded in your earth in order to be and experience and express the full expression of your sun gate, okay? So whatever gate you have activated here is what you're meant to be grounded in. It's what brings you balance in your life. It can bring you fertility in whatever context that makes sense for you. This is your yin energy, all right? This is how we use that energy from your sun gate to create things and to have a little bit more play, okay? Yeah, we still doing good? Okay. All right, next we have the north node, and the nodes, the north and the south nodes are like the poles on the moon, okay? So just like we have the north and the south pole on Earth, we have the north and the south nodes on the moon. Okay, so that's what these are. So the north node, breathing out, is kind of like the basic expression for the north node. The north node is sort of what you're moving toward with your life purpose, okay? And the north node is what guides you toward your higher self, okay? It's like your future direction, what your life purpose is moving towards, right? And something that I learned since last time I ran this is that whatever gate you have activated here is more like your theme, the theme that you will be experiencing in your life after roughly the age of 40. Okay, it's how you see the world and how you see yourself in your highest expression. Yeah. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anything on Facebook. Hi, Nina. Glad you're here again. All right. South node, so the south node of the moon is the opposite of the north node. Makes sense, right? So it's the inhale, the breathing in, it's what we're moving away from. Okay, the south node is sort of what indicates what you have been in the past and how you have lived in the past. And it can tend to point toward the lower expression of yourself. And we talked about this yesterday a little bit too, right? How even when we're in our lower expression or when we're in our shadows or anything like that, we are not wrong for that. It's just an indicator and it's just a lesson and it's just an experience, okay? So that south node can be very telling. And it's not always your lower self, but it just can be helpful to recognize that sometimes it can be. And if the north node is sort of the theme of our life after 40, the south node is more the theme of our life before 40. So I'm pretty sure most, if not all of us here are pretty much in our south node, right? I'm trying to think of who's watching the replay. But anyways, so most of us are in this more right now, more so than the north node. Let's see, and kind of something, if we have the option, if we're there, any issues or struggles or challenges that we might be experiencing in this gate, in this energy here, we want to try to resolve or heal those challenges before we turn 40, if possible. It's not a detriment if you've turned 40 and you just barely are learning about this. I remember that's kind of how I was with my Saturn return. I learned that Saturn return was a thing after I had gone through it. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Wish I could have, done something about it, but I didn't, and I'm still fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so same with this. This can provide some healing opportunities for us if we're available for it. Okay, the moon. The moon is kind of my favorite. I have like all kinds of moon decor in here because I decided that was the theme for his nursery. So the moon, in fact, we just had a new moon on Saturday. I believe we're in Virgo with this moon. Anyways, I still don't know all about the different astrological signs very well, but anyways, so the moon, this is what drives you. This is that driving force, that energy that motivates you. This is what pushes you forward in an aligned way, right? When you feel that push that feels really good and supportive, it's coming from your moon. And generally speaking, this is going to be like very instinctual, okay? You're going to just sort of know that you need to move forward in this way. And I just have a feeling that if you're looking at what gate is activated in your moon, that's just making so much sense. Yes. Okay, yes, that is your moon. And again, it's kind of fun too, because when if you get into transits and want to get really specific, you will have your own moon gates activated. And then when you look and see what the moon is activating, in the moment, that's not your design, you can also use that to give you an extra little motivational push for that cycle, right? For that moon cycle, for however long the moon is in that place, which the moon wasn't the best example, probably because it moves a lot. It changes gates, I can't even remember, a few times a day. Whereas like the sun and the earth will stay in one gate for about 6 days before they move on. But you can just, if you get to the point where you're already really comfortable with your own planetary activations and you want to start exploring transits, then it's just like you get to use that as an additional source of energy on top of what you already have in your own design. Let me know if I just totally confused you with that. Okay. All right, so Mercury, this cute little guy with a little bow on the head, I don't know. So Mercury is the planet of communication, all about communication, what you're here to communicate, how you like to communicate, what you like to talk about. Very much like thinking the mind. And basically this just indicates your message that you are here to communicate with the world. And again, make sure you're looking at both, and you don't have to do both right now. If you only have the capacity to look at one, then just definitely look at your conscious. But at some point you want to look at your conscious and your subconscious, because your subconscious energy can be very powerful, very, very impactful, even if you're not even if it doesn't feel supernatural for you. Okay. All right, Venus, so it's all about your values. So whatever is activated here in your Venus is likely something that is deeply valuable to you, something that is like a value level belief, and it shows where your moral compass is kind of coming from. All right, and it's also very much with like relationships and aesthetics, and also what you desire to be valued for. So not only what you value, but how you desire to be valued. Like, you know, some people really like to be valued for their looks. Some people really like to be valued for their personality, you know, and those are just very surface level examples, but sometimes that can be a place of tension in some relationships, because you both have different gates activated in your Venus, which means you both want to be valued for different things, but you're trying to value them for what you value. And so this is where communication, right? We can go back to our Mercury and communicate in the way that we like to communicate about our values and share, hey, this is how I like to be valued. This is what I desire to be valued for. Can you affirm that for me sometimes, right? Like, speak what you desire, ask for it. Don't try to make people read your mind. All right, Mars. This is like, this is like the sweet little immature planet, right? Youthful lessons can be found here, passion, desire. This is going to indicate areas of your life where you have a lot of energy, generally speaking. Like, think about younger children. You know, I've got a great example right there behind me. Lots of big energy that is super powerful and potent and can be potentially like immature in like a childlike way. So immature can sometimes have like negative connotations, but just think of more like childlike, that childlike sort of wonder and exuberance, right? And with that kind of energy can sometimes feel a little bit unwieldy and come in these outbursts that you don't really expect or know what to do with all the time, right? But that's why this is a huge part in your personal transformation. I mean, again, think about kids and how much they're constantly learning and exploring and growing. That's kind of what your Mars activation provides for you. Be creative in this place. Let yourself experience that childlike creativity, right? And let it be fun. Let it be fun. All right, Jupiter. This one's fun. Jupiter is the planet of the blessings, the gifts, and it provides lots of expansion opportunity for you. This is where, like it says here, you're going to find your life story here in a really beautiful way. This is where we make a lot of meaning for our life, right? The great meaning maker. And when you look at what gate you have activated here, it's probably going to answer that question that maybe you've had of, where do I fit in this, in the collective, in the larger context of society, right? And I mean, think about how big Jupiter is. It's the second most influential planetary body after the sun, both like just in the universe, like in our, what's it called? Solar system, just because of its size, but also with our own personal energy. It's going to have, after your sun, it's going to have the most influence on your energy. So that's something that you're really going to want to play with. And again, it's your blessings, your gifts. This is where you get to receive a lot of blessings. And with it, as you explore this gate a lot more as well, it's going to show you how to discover your own personal rules, right? It's going to show you how you get to set healthy boundaries and live life according to your rules versus someone else's, right? And this can be a potential source for material abundance. So like if you are trying to manifest more money, or if you want to live somewhere with a lot of trees, or You want to have a lot of shoes, or, this can show you how to experience all those things and how to make them your reality. And all of this, all of the goodness that is available to you within Jupiter is going to come to you much more easily and in much more flow when you're not deep in the throes of the challenges that are found within your Saturn. Okay, so if you find yourself really wrapped up in the challenges of your Saturn, which we're going to talk about next, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for you to receive what's going on here in Jupiter. Okay, Melissa says, all the emotions hitting me on these, self-validating. Yes. Honestly, I need to go through these for myself again. It's been a while. Oh, so good. All right, so Saturn. Keep asleep. I'm going to lay it down real quick. Pull up your Saturn. This one's fun. Okay, well, we dropped the binky. I have no idea where it went. We'll find that in a minute. Okay, so Saturn is your challenge, right? I think we're all pretty relatively familiar with Saturn, right? So again, Saturn return is around 80 or 29. So before 29 is when you're more going to be experiencing the challenges of your Saturn. And I think most of us are already past this point. Go get your tablet then. She says it's taking too long. Well, we aren't even where we were yesterday yet. Anyways, so Saturn is your challenge, like the main overarching challenge in the first part of your life, in such a good way. Bree says, I kind of wish I would have known about this, right? I know. Give me 1 second again. Okay, so when we explore our challenges in a really aligned way, it can create a bridge between your soul and your capacity to be present in a concrete way of life. Okay, so for past age 29, Saturn doesn't really apply. It does. It's just not as much of a focus. Okay, that's fine. It's just much more prevalent. Does that make sense? Or is that super big? It's like not like after age 29, it just kind of falls further into the background instead of being so much in the foreground.
And maybe it will be more prevalent during our next Saturn return
Mhm.
again, right?
I think so, if I remember correctly, yes. Cool. So we get a little bit of a break for a second where it's, if you address it now and you get really comfortable with however that challenge shows up for you now, then by the time we do reach our next Saturn return, we should be pretty well versed in like, okay, here we go. It's a little bit more intense now, but I know how to handle this, right? And especially because it does tend to be part of the physical plane, right? So it's again, that bridge between your soul, your spirit, and your physical self. So all these things that, if you've ever said to yourself, well, I know these things about myself, like I know this, or I want to manifest this, but I don't know how to bring it from like thought into reality, or I don't know how to do, I don't know how to bring it out onto the 3D plane. Explore your Saturn gates, because that's going to help bring things from the ether into, real things. Okay. Because like it says here, it's the builder, the anchor to the physical plane here. So when you look at this gate here, it tells you what you desire to build in this life and how you want to do it. So again, you don't need to follow anyone else's rules. This is going to give you all the information that you need to know how you want to do whatever it is that you're desiring. And also, again, with that challenge, it sort of cracks the whip when you're not living in alignment to your design. So look at that challenge. Does it kick your butt when you're trying to live by the shoulds, or when you're trying to say yes to things that are not correct for you, or trying to say no to things that are not correct for you, right? So let this be an indicator, because again, you're not wrong for experiencing these challenges. Just let it be an indicator, like, oh, I'm trying to follow someone else's rules. Oh, I am not listening to my sacral authority, right? Oh, I'm trying to do all the ideas that are in my open head center, but they're not all for me. Right. So just pay attention to this challenge. And then if you find yourself like really in it, zoom out, go onto that Hakalau, zoom out, and see where you're out of alignment in your design. Let's see if I'm missing anything else here. Yeah. Oh yeah, another analogy. Oh, go ahead.
Do you know when it's gonna Saturn's return is again? Is it like a
I wanna
billion
say-
years from now? No, like-
If only, right? I want to say around 59.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. If anyone wants
59.
to,
Like, okay. And you were talking about like if you want to take like manifestation from the ether realm and like bring it down, is that kind of resource on processes, different processes, because everybody have their own way that works for them? Is that in that library that you were talking about of resources that you offered?
yeah, it
Oh, okay.
absolutely can be. And I mean, and I'm always adding to that library too. So whenever, if anyone's in the mastermind, if you ever want to make a request for some kind of a resource, absolutely.
Okay.
Miss Melissa says Saturn return is like every 27 or 28 years, I think. Yeah, I think so. So it's somewhere around there. I can Google it later as well and post it in the group. Remind me if I forget. Or if anyone else does it as well, that's totally cool. But yeah, another analogy that I heard with Saturn that I really liked, because I've heard a lot of people talk about Saturn in only negative ways, and I don't love that, because Saturn is awesome. It's beautiful. It's great. It brings us so many opportunities for healing and growth. So an analogy I liked was that Saturn is kind of like that strict teacher who just wants the best for you, right? Like they're not going to let you get away with any crap because they want you to just totally succeed and blow everyone else out of the water, right? So that's a good way that you can kind of look at Saturn. Okay, so Chiron, a cute little key looking one. Now, again, this does not have any bearing on the definition within your chart, but when you heal whatever is going on in your Chiron, it's going to help you express your life purpose and be involved in your life purpose, like with so much more ease. Bree says, I feel like without the challenge of Saturn, I wouldn't have become a lot of things. Yes. Yes, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I need to look at my Saturn again because I don't even remember which one that is, to be honest. And we should be looking at that so that we know that we're not just going through crap without a purpose, right? Okay, so yes, Chiron is essentially just what needs to be healed for your life purpose. Really simple, but also if you look at your Chiron, I'm sure you're kind of seeing, oh yeah, I've got conditioning around that could be released, right? And when you look at this as well, it's kind of going to indicate like your spiritual life purpose, like your soul purpose. So, we've got our mental self, our physical self, and our spiritual self. So this is kind of like more of your life purpose that's coming through your soul self, your spiritual self. It's going to hold a lot of lessons for you, especially before your Chiron return, which I learned is around age 50. So most of us still, have plenty of time to explore what's going on here. And as we move through those lessons, as we receive the learnings that come from Chiron, it's going to help us more fully express our life purpose in a way that gets to feel super duper good, like really good. It just gets to feel so good in your body. That's the thing with all of this, is it gets to feel good, even if it's challenging, even if you really wish you weren't in the circumstance that you were in, you still get to feel really good and solid and grounded in your body. All right, Uranus. This is your quirkiness. This is your weird, this is where you get to be kind of, maybe people will kind of give you the side eye a little bit with this one, and that's perfect. Okay, sometimes it might feel a little bit unstable because, again, it's sort of like quirky and weird, so you're not really sure how to handle it maybe, but now that you're aware of that, it doesn't need to feel unstable all the time. It's a very innovative kind of energy. So I mean, think about like, I think about on Back to the Future, Doc. That's who I think of when I think of this planet, like just kind of weird and out there and quirky, but like very innovative, very creative, very inventive, right? Creative in ways that makes way for newness, for new things. Even if other people might think that's weird or not good or not founded on anything that's solid, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because this is your innovative energy. Okay. And just fun little fact, takes 84 years to move through all 64 gates. So it spends just a little over a year in each gate. So if anyone was born within a year of you, you probably share a gate here. So that's just kind of fun. But the rest of these gates that these planets that we're getting into are the slower moving planets. All right, so Neptune is so fun. This is your spiritual connection and purpose. This is where you get to experience a lot of surrender, a lot of trust. And as you do so, Neptune is just going to reveal its magic to you through the energy of this gate. So just here, I mean, there's not really any doing energy here. You just get to be. This is a lot of feminine energy, a lot of surrender, lots of flow. And then look at the energy of this gate and see what magic you would love to see happen in your life through this gate. And then start to ask yourself, how can I surrender to this and just let it be? Let it just move through me, because it already is. It already is. You just get to choose to let it flow uninhibited now. And because it is such like a feminine flow kind of thing, it might feel sort of elusive sometimes, kind of veiled a little bit, because it's designed to challenge you to grow. Because again, well, actually, I don't think I've even mentioned this much, but we have been, I mean, pretty much through all of humanity, we have been very conditioned to live in a very masculine, energetic way. And we are now changing that narrative to realize that we don't need to be doing all the time. And that's really uncomfortable to decondition from sometimes. So because this is very much the opposite of anything masculine, it can be really uncomfortable sometimes. So it's going to give you lots of opportunity to grow. The more you surrender, the more you trust, the more you will grow, and the more things will just get to be magical for you. Only on paper. Okay. Sure, you have paper over there? That's fine. Okay, Pluto, which I still say is a planet. Justice for Pluto. This one's kind of fun. It's like the deep, dark, mysterious celestial body, right? This is your potential for growth, massive truth, massive transformation, because in Pluto lives deep, dark, transformative magic. Again, all of this, like, and here's the thing, whether you believe in magic or not, all of this is very magical. It has the qualities of magic, because when you surrender to them, it feels magical, right? When things just get to happen, how magical does that feel? So let this feel magical, as it just, because it's going to bring truths of your subconscious to the surface. And again, Pluto is going to bring those up when you are ready for them, when it is aligned for you to explore those subconscious truths. And as it does so, Pluto is going to shine, you know, with Pluto, it's going to shine light in the dark. It's going to shine light on the things that are correct for you and that are beautiful for you and magical for you, even in the darkness. So very mysterious, very beautiful, very silver lining-ish, right? So even if things are really murky and iffy and sketchy, this is going to shine light on the things that are for you to explore and to grow from. And you don't need to worry about anything else that you can't see or are not aware of yet. Yeah. So it won't even move through all of your gates in your lifetime. Nope. So this is where we get like sort of some generational gates too. Isn't that kind of fun? Yeah, it takes 248 years to move through all the gates. So almost 4 years per gate. So wild. Okay, so we're gonna make it a little bit simpler as well. If you want to take notes on this, we're gonna break up the planets into 3 groupings. So we have the inner planets, the inner bodies. So Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, the Moon, and Mars. Okay, so we've got all those planetary bodies that are the inner celestial bodies. These are the ones that have a super personal influence on your life. Oh, thank you, sweet girl. I probably need to watch that then. So this is very much like a now, like this is making a difference on our life right now and correlates with our basic nature here, right? And then we have our mid planets, which are Jupiter and Saturn. And these ones correlate more with how we relate to society.
I'm gonna find him.
Okay.
Sun down here.
Okay. And then we have our outer planets. So we've got Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And again, these are the generational influences because they are the slower movers. They take so long to move through all the gates. So fun thing about these is we're going to feel the influence of these outer planets more when they interact with our inner planets, which like if they share a gate or during a return or something like that, right? So when you see them kind of having a correlation as you start to explore these, you're going to feel that influence more. Otherwise, you might not feel this consciously very often until it is super prevalent. Yeah. They're mostly ones that you get to just let be. They just get to be. You don't need to focus too much on, hey, don't do that next to your brother, please. Okay, so before we move on through all of that, are there any questions? We just went through all the planets.
Mom, it's on that.
Yeah, you love Mars, huh?
Yep.
Oh, do you think like it works like that for other like multiverses, according to whatever planet they're in or something? Like the
I
beings
would
that
guess
live in
so.
there or something like that. And my other question is, so like the outer planets and and like sometimes when people like you're born for such a time as this for your bloodline or something, and like you was like supposed to be here and you're the one that's gonna change everything, like when you finally do it for your bloodline, like is it really like complete, or do you like pass the responsibilities on to maintain the healing you did for your generation? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I love that question.
That's
That's
Okay.
Okay, so for that first question, I love that question because we can't possibly have an answer for it, but I love
Right.
thinking about that. I would guess yes, just because
Okay.
the entire universe that we cannot even comprehend. I mean, the James Webb Space Telescope thing. Have you guys seen anything about that? Like, I have been geeking out about it. I think it's so freaking cool that we're able to start exploring even more of space. And I think that's just going to bring more energy to us, and we're putting our energy more out there. Like, I think all celestial bodies have influence on whatever beings they can reach.
Okay.
That's
And
just
where
my
they live, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
And somehow people still believe it's flat. I know, right? I will never understand, and I don't care to understand. It's fine. Melissa asked if I'm sharing these slides. I can. I sure can. I hadn't thought about doing that, but yeah, I could send that. Maybe what I'll do is when I send out the final email with all the replays, I can send out all the slides.
And the second question?
Yes. So with that second question, okay.
Mhm.
So
Because I'm in like the fight of my life, but every single prophet and psychic is like, you're here and you're supposed to, and they're not like, I have intuitive knowing, like they're not lying, they're not trying to make a buck, like this flight is so hard. So, but yeah, passing through these gates, I'm like, I might be on like 263, so I gotta get them through to like this gate to finish this generational mission or something. Like,
yes.
jeez. But good, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Don't apologize. So generational healing, first of all, I want to say is a lot. It can feel heavy and a lot until it doesn't.
Okay.
So once something has been healed, it doesn't need to be re-healed. Now, every once in a while, because I mean, I think I talked about this yesterday a little bit too. Sometimes it feels like you've healed something, but then you fall back into that pattern again. It's not necessarily, it's not the exact same thing. So I have talked about with other clients, like we're never just on this wheel. Well, sometimes we get on a wheel, but if you guys are here, you're not on this wheel because you're already making progress. You're not on the hamster wheel. You're on the spiral staircase. So sometimes it might feel like you're experiencing the same limiting patterns, but you're experiencing these things as a more elevated, more healed, more high level version of who you are, because it has layers of healing as well. So it's kind of like, think about like if you get a really deep cut in your arm, first that bottom layer needs to heal, and then the next layer of skin needs to heal, and then the next layer of skin needs to heal until all layers of that skin have healed. So if you just keep climbing that spiral staircase, you will get to a point where you no longer experience, like you'll look back and you're like, oh, I haven't experienced that limiting pattern in a long time. I think it's done. It's done healing. So you just get to keep healing from higher and higher level versions of who you are and higher level versions of that generational wound.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, and so then you would, to keep it maintain the generational healing, would you then teach the people, your children and the different people in your family members, like, this is how we stay whole, or this is how, like, using different principles, or, you know, like universal things, of like healthy tenets of relationships or communicate, like whatever it is, the issue is within your, you know, family line, like, is that how has that how families stay healed, by passing down like the
The learnings.
functional tenets to make sure you maintain the healing? Like, you can create a utopia, but like, you always watch like a movie, they create a utopia and it's something like there's a crack, and then somehow it's like the world's all messed up, like we made it, and then somebody somehow slipping like jealousy, and like we
Mm,
just went through, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
forget what I was watching, like I think like Divergent, like I was like, or what, that wasn't utopia, but like movies like that where it's like that's the premise, and then somehow like, how did it just get messed up? I thought like everybody's on the same page, like I, you know, so I just like, that's what I want to know. Like, is my life like all going through all this, is it going to be for nothing? Is someone like
no.
3
Okay, so I'm gonna
generations
tell you
along? Yeah, like 3
what you're
generations, like,
doing.
oh, it's just all gonna be messed up.
Okay, what you're doing, you are waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Okay.
And that's just a belief.
Okay.
I'm gonna come along and screw it up. Yeah, exactly. So the reason we have that like thought in the back of our mind
Mm-hmm.
is, once again, from generational wounds and media. Because again, all the movies, that's how they say, this is how it is. This is how life happens. This is how it works. It's never good enough. No, it's just a belief. That's just a belief that you're operating from, and you get to choose if you want to keep living from that,
Mm-hmm.
or, and it can feel so, because I have totally been deeply into that belief as well. Like feeling, I'm just like, yeah, it's good right now. It's good for now.
Like, yeah, like for the heal, like whatever I'm healing from, like I'm not running away from it. It's not like that. Like some people are just, I don't know, but I like,
Yeah.
well, I'm well, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, like put in the work. I just want to make sure, like, I mean, every individual in the bloodline is going to have their own individual life. I just, this be messed up. Like I did all this work
Okay.
for, yeah.
So if so once something has been healed, someone cannot come and unheal it.
Okay.
Even if you still have that fear living in your body a little bit, you can also trust, you can have that fear and also trust that this
Mhm.
work will not be for naught. Okay. So yes, take that on and choose to believe it, because it's absolutely true. If someone else, now, if there's someone else in the like for future bloodline, so like, you know, my kids,
Mhm.
they're not likely. So like I am healing a lot of money wounds from my family. Like I think I mentioned this yesterday. There's a lot of money wounds from my maternal, or my
Like a
my
belief
paternal
system.
grandmother. Yeah.
Right. Like mentality of it. Okay.
So from the Depression era, there's a lot of like scarcity mindset that I inherited.
Okay.
But I'm not passing that on to my kids. So they will not inherit that same scarcity belief. Now, if they choose to pick up on another scarcity belief, they
Mhm.
might, but it's not going to be the same one.
Okay.
They're not going to pick up on this one. They might pick up on it from somewhere else, but because I have been working so diligently on this particular big wound, they're less likely to pick up on it from somewhere else, because I've been rewiring
Mhm.
their subconscious for abundance and prosperity. Does that make sense?
It makes so much this is why you're awesome. Like it makes so much sense. And one more, like, can you work on that prenatally? I don't know if that's a term, but like, can you, do you know what I mean? Like
Like
if
more
you're
of it
having
in
a
the
baby,
womb?
you know, like, yeah, from inside, can you like not program, but can you like work on that so they can
Absolutely.
live in like this very healthy environment while they're growing inside of you?
Mhm.
Wow,
Oh my
that's
gosh, like
amazing.
when this little dude was in my stomach, I talked to him all
Mhm.
the time. I would apologize to him all the time. Like I would have these like meltdowns as a mom, you know, like I did not show up in
Right.
the way that I wanted to. And I would just talk to him like, this is what's going on in my life right now. And I want to apologize for showing up like this. This is how I'm going to show up moving forward. And these are the things that I know are true for you. Like, oh yeah.
That's beautiful. It's like you're like doing the work prenatal like stage, like so they don't come out, you know, having to have the generational trauma. I think that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Bree said-
I left yesterday the thing and I was like, yep, this is why Megan's awesome. Like, you know, you presented your what you're about to present again. I know you're gonna do it every day, but I was like, she makes healing just seem so obtainable.
Thank you for saying that.
Like, really, you do. Some people make it like, and it'd be great, and they're on another stratus or something. Not saying you're not, but like you make it so conversational. You don't go so fast, like going through slides. You're like presenting, but it's conversational, and it's just like I'm like she's in this substance, deep stuff, but it just doesn't feel so like it is deep, but it feels like we're talking like I don't know about regular stuff, and we're not. Like,
yeah, because it is like, because that's exactly what it is, because your soul, your spirit recognizes it. And that's honestly, and that's one of the things too, as I've studied my own design, I have recognized my own gift. I have a natural talent, like that's my 2 line is the natural. I pick up on things super easily and I'm able to break them down really easily for other people. So that's why I'm able to show you just how simple it gets to be. And your soul is recognizing the things that I'm sharing with you. Even if logically you're like, oh, I never would have thought of that. Your body is recognizing it.
That makes so much sense.
And like what Bree said, I wanted to touch on this because she's pregnant right now. She says, I'm creating an entirely different reality for this baby than for any of the other 3. It's been a decade since her youngest was born. And then she also said, which I totally agree with, she says, having said that, I don't believe it's ever too late with your kids, which is so true. Like, so first of all, just knowing what I know about the subconscious mind from age like 0 to 7.
Yeah,
It's
foundational.
Yeah, they're just an open walking subconscious mind. And then after that, they've got more of their beliefs set, which I used to panic because my oldest just turned 7. And there were a few moments, again, when I was in like my super pregnant hormonal mess of a mind. I panicked a few times because I was like, oh my gosh, I have screwed her up. I haven't done enough work with her. But also like,
I understand.
she is
I have
still
a 7-year-old son and I'm like, some stuff is happening. Like we're going through transitions and certain things. And I'm like, because I work with children and youth, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this childhood adverse experience. I don't want to be a source. I don't want to cause it. Like, I understand like watching and dealing with inner city and all of that, like what it can do. And like, so it's like, I know things and I'm like, so it's like, yeah. And people like, you just have to give yourself slacks. And I'm like, yeah, but I've seen what happened when the adults aren't being responsible and they're like, their children is going to and fro and experiencing things way too early, like during certain foundational. So I have to like balance it to give myself grace, but at the same time, I like, yeah, no, you have to be a responsible adult. Like, so.
And with that, you get to be responsible and give yourself grace by knowing that you get to be responsible according to your strategy and your authority. Like it gets to return to being that.
Right.
And Bree says, I've cut off certain beliefs and healed generational stuff for these kiddos already. And I didn't do that in utero. Yes, exactly. Because I think yesterday, did I talk about the pearl necklace analogy yesterday?
No.
Okay. So what's up? Okay.
But I know like everybody's not healing in utero. I'm just asking, was that possible? Like, I think that's amazing. That'd be beautiful. But of course a lot of it is done when they're out, so.
Yes. So with that pearl necklace thing. So imagine that there's just like this pearl necklace with all of these generational traumas, all of these like, so there's one big pearl and then it just keeps building up with all these other events, right? That are similar because of this traumatic thing that happened, whether it was big T or little t generationally, right? And like generational experiences keep getting piled onto that because it's just building up. When we heal the wound, it's like untying the knot at the end, the wound comes off and the rest just follow suit. Like it just.
I'm gonna cry. I'm happy, I don't have a problem crying. So like, oh, that's beautiful. Yes. It's because a lot of them are interconnected anyway. Like this happened because this happened, like a domino effect. So then that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Wow. So just imagine that pearl necklace and remember how easy it gets to be. You don't have to individually pick off each pearl. You just untie the knot and let's see, Bree says, I see a lot of people saying, oh, I'm so glad I didn't have kids before I healed. And I'm like, dude, if you figured out how to fully heal before kids and they don't bring any of that stuff up, tell me your secrets. Honestly, because this is here. Like I've seen that quote on Pinterest sometimes where they're like, oh, my only goal in life is to raise kids that don't have to go to therapy. Like every single human being is going to go through some kind of trauma, little T trauma or big T trauma. We're all going to experience some kind of trauma. We're all going to experience some kind of wounds because otherwise, why the hell are we here? We are here to learn and grow. We should all go to therapy anyways. Bree.
Exactly though.
Yes.
Yeah, Bree. Y'all need to go to therapy.
So yeah, we all came here for a purpose, and each generation gets a little bit more expansive and a little bit more gains more capacity
Mhm.
to heal, gains more capacity to experience this human life. So we know that the future generations are going to be fine, even if we
Right.
don't, because we can't even comprehend what they're going to have the capacity for. And
Yeah.
also, I am not so arrogant to believe that I can screw up God's plan for my children.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
right. So that because that's just a belief. If you think that you can screw your kids up so much that they're not going to be able to experience their own purpose, you're not that powerful. The universe has got your back, basically. You know, those kids will be able to rise to the challenge, whatever that looks like in their context. And Bree says, it's like the story I shared of my 15-year-old yesterday. She said a lot of stuff to me. However, I would have been legit afraid to speak how I was feeling to my parents. Yes. So we are holding the space for them to just at least speak their truth and experience this life the way that they were meant to experience it. So we are showing up. Because we have the knowledge that generational trauma is a thing. That's new information, you know? Which is
Yeah.
why we know that our parents did the best that they could with the information and the resources that they had available to them, even if it did traumatize us in ways.
Yeah, definitely did.
It's okay. That's how it was meant to be, because we now have the capacity to heal that, pass that healing along. So, yeah, so that's the answer for all of that generational healing trauma. That's a lot of what we do in the mastermind as well, is a lot of generational healing. And
When you told me about the children, you made the recording that kids, I think it was you, past 20, born in 2027 and above, they'll have these different chakras. Will they be able to handle and heal like faster, or like?
I honestly don't know. I haven't been able to learn much about that yet, but where I have learned, like the place where I have been learning all about human design, she's going to be creating a class all about 2027. So as soon as I get that, I will be sharing the crap out of it.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering all my questions.
Oh, of
Thank
course.
you.
Yes.
You
thank
like,
you.
yeah.
And Bree says, when I was able to recognize that about my parents, I realized I had reached a different level of my own healing. Yes. Yes. When we do not need to place that blame on someone else, like even me, like with the abuse that I experienced as a child, I have zero hard feelings towards my abuser. I know that anyways, I don't need to get into all of that, but it's not even relevant to my own healing. It is. It's so freeing. It's amazing. So I love that, Bree. Oh, such good questions. And I also want to just say again, for anyone who's watching the replay, because I know there's a few more people who have to catch the replay today, any questions that you have, whether you think it's relevant to what we learned today or not, drop them in the question. Any question that's coming up for you that you feel aligned to ask it, because I love this. I love it. So, and I won't go into this quite as much as I did yesterday, but just a reminder that the Integration by Design Mastermind starts a week from today. Next Tuesday, we start, and I'm so excited. And Bree says, thank you, Megan. You always hold such beautiful space for us. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate hearing that, because sometimes it's even hard for me to remember my own gifts. I get so focused on yours, and it's always nice to get a reminder of mine. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, so, and here is a quick reminder of what you receive within this mastermind. And again, this mastermind, it's always growing, and you always have lifetime access to the things that are within it. I don't think I mentioned that yesterday. Lifetime access to the resources inside. High level lessons on your unique design. So you just saw how complex my chart is. So you're going to get design lessons on your own chart. You're going to get lessons on somatic healing patterns, and that's also going to be expanding as those lessons. I always recommend when you're within the container to only explore the lessons that correlate with your chart. But then after, if you want to go back through and learn about, like, so if you're a manifester and you want to go through and learn about a generator, once the 12 weeks are over, go back and watch the lesson on the generator. Awesome. Maybe you have a generator in your family. Go back later and watch that. I've had people do that, and that's kind of fun too. And then again, you get live Zoom coaching calls every other week. You have that on-demand library of healing resources, which I mentioned earlier. You can make requests like, hey, Megan, this is something that I'm feeling drawn to healing right now. I'm not seeing anything in the resource library that I feel compelled to utilize to heal this thing. Could you create something? Could you outsource something? Because I also, y'all, I have access, again, my 4-line in my profile, I have an incredible network of healers that I know. I know so many beautiful healers, all of whom have, like, I've talked to so many of them about collaboration opportunities. So like, I don't do sound bath meditations, but I know someone who does. So like, if that's something that you wanted to request, I could find someone to provide that for us. Okay, so we're gonna have massive healing resources in there for you. And then also, I think I'm trying to decide if we're gonna do Voxer or Facebook Messenger or something, but that's where you're going to be able to have support held for you daily, space held for you daily by the other members of the mastermind, as well as daily coaching from me within there, within my business hours, which I will set once the mastermind starts. But yeah, you don't have to wait for the live calls every other week to receive guidance and coaching. You have it daily. And that's one of the reasons why I actually love masterminds, is because of the sisterhood that's available to you within it. I mean, Bree, that's how I met you, was through a group container. And I mean, my gosh, I cherish the relationships that I have from everyone that I have ever been in a group container with. And so I just love that we get to be able to, I'm so grateful to be able to provide that kind of space here within this container, within this mastermind. Bree says I thrive in those spaces too. Yes. And especially, so here's a little pro tip as well. If you look at your human design, if you have any kind of split, so if you have no split, you're still definitely going to benefit from this. But if you have any kind of split, having the energy of multiple people is going to help you feel more complete and make it easier for you to move through your own healing just by having access to more energy. So that's a whole other rabbit hole that I'm not going to get into today because I'm going to need to go feed this guy in a minute. And then this one is new as well, the VIP celebration call at the end of the 12 weeks, which I'm so excited for, because again, we just need to take more time to celebrate all of the good things that we are experiencing, right? To not feel like we have to move from one healing moment to the next so quickly, right? We don't need to heal something and then immediately start moving on to working on the next one. You get to sit in celebration for however long feels good. You get to have access to those good feelings for longer than half a second, right? You don't have to say, oh, that's healed, okay, let's go. No, we're gonna hold space here in the celebration call and celebrate the crap out of you. Because in those 12 weeks, you're not even gonna be able to anticipate what's gonna happen to you in these 12 weeks, which is awesome. I don't want you to try to anticipate it. I want you just to be open to moving through it and experiencing it, because it's going to be exactly what you need it to be. And again, if you want to look through some of these testimonials, the funny thing is, I don't know if it's my design or if I just haven't asked for the written ones as much, but I get so many testimonials on calls. I mean, like Courtney, you were just talking about that here, right? How much you're grateful for me and how you think I'm awesome, right? And I get a lot of it in voice.
I always can write it. So I've been writing them down anyway, so I'm just gonna send them all to you.
Okay.
So like, if I'm having an issue that I need help within the group, can I just do a video? Because sometimes it's like, I'm gonna write a whole book. Can I just do a video?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But I need to stand up for a second. In fact, and that's one reason why I love doing the group chat for the support. I used to do a Facebook group, but again, I'm kind of the same way. Sometimes typing out a novel is hard with those things, and it's just easier to speak them out. And so when you're in a group chat, like whatever one I choose, it will have the capacity for voice notes, because I do so much better with voice notes personally, both when I'm asking a question and when I'm providing an answer. So yes, absolutely yes. And then just another reminder about this aligned action bonus. I know, but I need to stand up and calm Ammon down a little bit. I'm so excited to be able to do these. I'm so excited, you guys. And this is another thing that's going to be kind of new within the mastermind as well, is talking about the gene keys. So again, gene keys are kind of like a deep dive into your gates. So we talked about gates today. Gene keys is like taking each of those gates and diving even deeper and getting more specific, which gives you more opportunity for more healing and more validation, more freedom, like more understanding. Do I only open my doors once a year? I don't have, my initial goal was to do it like 3 times a year. And then it's been, last time I opened it was about a year ago. Let's see, when was it? Last October, I think, was when I did my last one. But that big gap was mostly because we moved halfway across the country and I had a baby and was solo parenting. So I'm not sure when I'll open it again. It might be January. It might not be till after school is. I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, I don't exactly have a clear answer on that. But if that's something that you want to, can you go pick that up for me, please? If that's information you want to be privy to, you can always email me or message me or whatever. So yeah, with this private reading, again, at this moment, I'm not offering this anywhere else. It's a new offer. It's a new thing. I've never even done these before. But when you join this mastermind by next Tuesday, you're going to get your own private Gene Keys reading, and it's, I cannot even tell you how transformative it is. Like, because this is what I've been going through myself for the past few months, is my own Gene Keys sequences. And I mean, my gosh, if I thought human design was validating and transformative, Gene Keys honestly just takes it to the next level. Let's see, Bree says, yeah, I get that. I'm holding out on joining anything until the new year, so I'll definitely DM you. That sounds great. Sounds good. You just started hearing about Gene Keys and it is mind blowing. Oh my gosh, yeah. Even if if for anyone who like the mastermind does not feel aligned and you want to explore my monthly membership, I have some Gene Keys resources inside my monthly membership. So anyone can reach out to me about that as well if that's something you're wanting to explore. Okay, and with the mastermind, again, I'm all about your strategy and your authority, right? So if it's something that you're not sure of and you're not super comfortable with your own strategy and authority yet, and you want help accessing your strategy and authority, reach out to me. I am never going to push you to make a decision that is not correct for you. When we talk about the mastermind, whether it's through email, whether it's on a call, whatever avenue feels most aligned for you, my only goal is to help you make a decision that feels so good in your body. That is my only goal. So if it's something that you want to explore, but you don't want to be sold to, you don't want to be pressured into spending money that you're not prepared to spend, or pressured to consume information that you don't have the energetic capacity for yet, you don't have to worry about that here, because as I've talked through here, I do not do copy and paste. I do not believe everything is for everyone. I don't believe I am for everyone. So if it's something that you're contemplating, come talk to me. We can do a Voxer chat. We can do a Zoom call. We can talk via email. We can chat on Instagram. I'm going to do whatever I can to help you make a decision that feels good in your body. Because, and I actually talked about this in my little Instagram post today with my my workout story, you know, where I always post a little something. If something is correct for you, you are going to have the energy to see it through. Okay, Goose, you gotta get down, honey. You're knocking too much stuff over. Get down, get on my chair, okay? You can sit on my chair. So, and that's one reason why having your strategy and authority is so powerful, because if something is a yes for you, but you're still kind of scared to do that thing, but you know it's a yes, you get to trust that your body is going to give you everything that you need to see that thing through to the end. So there's just another little validation there for you as well. Okay, well, I think this little dude is getting hungry, but does anyone have any last minute questions? And again, I know for me, I usually end up getting questions like after the fact. So if that happens, come on into the group or email me, whatever you want to do. I always suggest sharing these questions in the group because we all benefit from hearing and learning from other people's questions. So comment on the video, just create a new post in the group, whatever works for you, and I would be more than happy to answer it.
Just email you at Empire?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that will work.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. You are amazing. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Enjoy your food, man. Bye, little dude.